Welcome to Defiance of Silence, a Sacred Witness podcast. This episode is a little bit different. I got to spend the week in Colorado as one of 6 women participating in Operation Equine's Warrior Pack trip. We rode horses, worked cattle, spent long days outside, shared meals, laughed a lot, and somewhere in the middle of all of that, we were given opportunities to look honestly at ourselves. Toward the end of the week, I had the opportunity to sit down in the barn with Operation Equine's founder, Michelle Kaye, and co-facilitator, Lee Dudley. What you're about to hear was recorded right there while we were still inside the experience. So sitting in the barn, hearing all the things, the wind blowing, all of those things that you don't get in a home studio. So after our conversation, I also did have a chance to talk to some of the women who shared this experience with me, and also one of the horsewomen who helped us. So I just want to share this experience with you all and give you a chance to learn about something that maybe you might be interested in. If you are a veteran, doesn't matter male or female, you may find something here interesting, and I hope that you'll listen to the end. So you'll hear several voices in this episode, different experiences, different takeaways, but all from the mountains of Colorado. And because this was recorded in a barn, you're going to hear a barn. You're going to hear wind, movement, maybe some voices, and life happening around us. I decided to leave some of that in because that's just where the conversation happened. So, from the barn at the Warrior Pack trip, this is Operation Equine. Hope you enjoy this conversation. I'm here with a wonderful group of ladies from Operation Equine, and I'm just going to let them introduce themselves and we'll get into this conversation.
Excellent. Thanks, Val. My name is Michelle Kaye, and I am the founder and executive director of Operation Equine.
And my name's Lee Dudley, and I am a co-facilitator for Operation Equine.
And she's so much more than that, just for the record.
I would agree after watching you two together this week. There's a serious synchronicity between the two of you.
We have been working together for quite some time.
It's evident because you speak to each other without words. And I'm like,
That's true.
I wish I knew their language because you're just so good at what you do. And before we get into what you do and why we're here and what the Warrior Pack trip is, and that's what this episode is about, is highlighting some of the women that came here this week, including myself, to get a little more insight into their life and just things that can translate from the equine world to our personal lives. And so I'll just start with why Operation Equine. What was the heart of this when you started it?
Mm-hmm. I was a counselor and an educator for about 25 years with youth at risk, both the youth at risk who were inner city, homeless teens, former gang members, kids who are running their own households because their parents were incarcerated, like some really brilliant and tough kids. And then was also working with the kids who are considered twice exceptional, which is the gifted and talented kids, who were making rocket ships and doing stuff that the students at MIT were doing, but can't look in the eye or tie their shoes. So those are my students for a long time. And after a while, I was just getting a little tired of the city, and education was burning me out a little bit. And I've been a horse person since I was 6. The horses definitely saved me when I was about 6, and my parents were getting a divorce, and I got to be with horses for the summer, and it saved me every single summer. So I read this book. I'm going to give a shout out to Linda Kahanov, who wrote the book, The Tao of Equus. And I was tootling about in a bookstore, and I was already thinking I needed to make a change. And I read the book, The Tao of Equus, and went, oh, okay. So the horses started calling me back, and I started going to some equine therapy, learning, coaching kinds of certifications, because I was like, wait a minute, this is a thing? Horse people are like, wait, this is a thing? You get paid for this? Like, you go take a certification class? Like, isn't this just what you do with horses? But now it's a thing. So you go to the classes and you get the thing. And I met one of my best friends to this day, Brad Gallup, who is a Marine and Air Force veteran. And we went to this training, and, we got to be fast friends. And at the end of the training, he's like, you ever thought about working with veterans? I said, I don't know a thing about them. Why? He goes, because you have the Constitution for it. I was like, well, what the heck does that mean? Thick skin. I've been working with cowboys since I was a kid. Don't take myself too seriously. Don't get offended too easily. And so he introduced me actually to Project Sanctuary, wonderful program. And I was one of their staff counselors for about 12 years, and I went all in. I mean, I fell in love with the military and veteran community. I drank all the Kool-Aid. So I became an MFLAC, military family and life counselor, did that on and off for 12 years, got to go overseas, worked at Fort Bragg, Fort Carson a few times, and both with the adults and the kids, and went, oh my God, this is the community I want to work with the rest of my life, and just went all in. Um, and so I was working for a lot of different nonprofits and different companies. And at some point I was like, this was in 2019. I said, I know, I have a great idea. I'm going to start my own nonprofit organization. This was about 7 months before the pandemic hit.
Oh, no.
Nobody saw that coming. Well, maybe some people did, but yeah. And here we are almost 7 years later, which is
incredible.
literally by divine grace, we are here still. So that's kind of the long, short version.
So how did Lee come on board?
Also by the grace of God. Seriously, I had seen her name like in the equine in Colorado or in the Denver area. I kept seeing her name all over the place. Like, who is this Lee Dudley person? She's doing all this equine work. And she was working with Michael Dawson, I think, at the time, who was an amazing practitioner. And he was doing, he was a therapist, right? Equine assisted psychotherapy and learning. And I just kept seeing her name. And I was doing as a civilian, I really have learned literally experiential learning, like on the job training. I became very passionate about teaching military cultural competence to other civilians. And I co-created this course with Tiffany Morgan, who's a Navy veteran, dear friend and colleague. And we created this training for other therapists and coaches and civilians who work in the health and wellness sector, because people are so well intended, right? Myself included. And we say stupid stuff all the time. So the less stupid things we can say and be more informed, but it's also cultural competence, right? Like any community you work with. If you work with LGBTQ kids, if you work with immigrants, if you work with, whatever, you should have some cultural competence. So anyway, I was doing this training, and I guess I reached out to Lee, or she found the training.
Well, I rode professionally for a billion years and then decided that it would be a really good idea to go to grad school because my body probably wasn't going to hold up, when I was going to have a later in life career, which I was, going to be clinical psychology. But in that journey, it was like, well, why not roll into the world of equine assisted psychotherapy? And I get the best of both worlds. And Michelle, in that, I think we had kept crossing paths. I'm a trauma therapist. I've worked with mostly in sex trafficking and some in foster system and disadvantaged youth. And was really kind of burned out on disadvantaged youth and at-risk youth, and said, kind of interested. And Mary Sloka had reached out and said, you should do this training. And that's when I did. And I had said, well, I think I'd love to learn more about the veteran military community. And I am a civilian. So thanks be to the universe that this beautiful woman said, hey, I've got a lot of information for you, which gave me the confidence to say, yeah, I could do this work with her, which is one of the things that I so appreciate about Michelle, is that, she is so thorough in that she isn't just kind of like somebody on board who may be a skilled therapist, but we really needed to understand the psychology of the military and what it is like to walk that walk.
Well, I'm glad that you said
we
yes.
can.
Yes, I'm glad that you said yes.
Best we can.
I'm glad that you said yes to each other, because you two make a great team. And I've been able to, here we go. I've been able to witness the power of the two of you this week as these women have faced their stuff head on. It's been really powerful to watch and to witness. And that's the whole premise of this podcast, is being a sacred witness, and really learning that in order to defy silence, you do have to break that silence, but not everybody has to hear your story or they're the right witness. And in order to be a witness, you have to be silent. And the horses are the perfect witness, because they didn't say anything in words, but they say it in their bodies. So, I mean, that's why horses, right? Like that's why you do this.
Exactly.
And it's hard to understand that if you've never been around a horse. So I think people scratch their head like, what do you mean equine therapy? I didn't know that was a thing either. Growing up riding bareback in bikinis with my friends, like I didn't think that was anything too exciting. But as I've gotten older, and I've talked about it before on this podcast about how much that's helped me to have insights into myself and things you're doing and bringing these ladies out here. So I have a question. When you first started Operation Equine, was that intended that you were going to do these pack trips, or was it just kind of? I'm guessing.
Great
I'm
question.
guessing
Yeah.
that's a loaded question.
Yeah. No, it's great. I mean, this was a dream come true for me because the work that we do in equine assisted psychotherapy and learning is 99% on the ground because there's so much relationship, there's so much communication, there's so much, like you said, a horse holding witness on the ground. There's so much you can do on the ground, right? And so many people are like, what do you mean we're not riding? Right. And there is something really sacred about being on a horse and going out to the wilderness. And so that work that we do on the ground becomes that much richer when you actually get on the horse and can take that relationship that you've just created on the ground and create it out in the saddle, out in the wilderness, out on the range, out doing cattle like we did today. And so a pack trip, I had always wanted to go on a pack trip. And I thought, oh my gosh, well, why couldn't we do this as Operation Equine? And so I started forming this in my mind. And at the time, I had a board member who was like, it's too expensive. It's not the time. It was still during COVID. Like, people aren't going to fund this, which made me and at first I was like, well, maybe she's right. And then went, hell with that. I want to do this. And this is an amazing thing. And you know what? At the time, nobody else was doing it. Not this way, right? Beautiful, wonderful organizations taking veterans and service members out hunting and out fishing and out on rides. Wonderful. I wanted to take the benefit of what Lee and I have with our therapeutic background and take it deeper. So I started thinking about, okay, how could we really do this? And how would it cost? And what would it look like? Because that's one of the things, it's one of my superpowers is creating programs. And so I'm looking for an acronym, right? Because it's military. I was like, okay, equine, excellence, quality, unique. I'm like, yeah, that's lame. I'm not doing that. And then I thought, okay, horse, health, opportunity, relationships. It was like it just was not coming. And then divinely inspired, because one of the things that Tiffany and I teach in our military cultural competence training is the warrior ethos. She taught me a lot about that. And so I thought, warrior, it's got to be something in that. And no kidding, divine download, boom, it came out. So the W is wisdom. The A is accountability and acceptance. The R's are all kind of interchangeable. I mean, I could read them off of here, which is great. Respect for self, for others, for nature. Responsibility for self, for others, for nature. I, integrity, which is one of my personal core values, as well as in our organization. O is own your impact. So interesting who gets that and who doesn't. Like, who learns? What does that really mean to own your impact? And then the other R is relationship for self, for others, for nature. Because also being a somatic nature therapist, taking the horses is one piece, and then taking it out under the trees, under the sky, with the breeze, with the thunder rumbling over us today, with the raindrops coming in on us, with the sound of the hooves. Best sound ever. All of those things combining, because there's only so much you can get to in an office, I think. And, I'm an office therapist. And after many, many years doing the somatic nature therapy training and the equine training and doing more things outside, I feel like this impact of this warrior pack trip really does take the best of what Lee and I can do therapeutically. And because we're both horse people in very different ways, she has an amazing formal training. And I was raised very informally, like, hey, Michelle, when I was wrangling when I was a teenager, there's a new horse we just got in. Get on her back and see how she does.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you bounce better when you're 15,
That's
and so taking that plus a boatload of training and being trauma therapists and loving the military veteran first responder communities, it was really a dream come true.
And I think being able for us to say, all right, we're really going to focus on creating this pack trip experience. If we're going to do mounted work that's therapeutic, I mean, other programs may do some mounted equine assisted work. Not a lot of programs do mounted work, but some do. This is like top shelf to be able to say, we're not just going to do mounted work. We're going to do it in. I wish that anybody who is going to get to listen to this podcast could have just a glimpse of where we are sitting
me
and
too.
what this looks like and how impactful being in nature and an environment like this in the mountains and looking and seeing is different than even just doing mounted work in an arena. This
Mhm.
this this brings it
The
all
special
together.
sauce.
It
This
really
is
does.
Yeah.
brings it all
And we'll
together.
post photos on social media
Yeah.
so you get an idea of this barn. I mean, this barn could be a
As
movie set.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. And having just jumped off horseback, what, like an hour ago, I have like the after horse glow and everything's, this week has been really incredible. But, for this to come to fruition, like it's taken a lot of personal integrity and a lot of work to be able to do this. Like we talk a lot in this space and on the podcast a lot too about vicarious trauma. What do you do to take care of yourselves and like not carrying these things?
Yes, we do the practices our darn selves. When I get up in the morning before we start with as a group, I am out there doing my own practices of grounding, a little bit of yoga, a little bit of qigong, a little bit of breath work, prayer, grounding, centering, and really I do my darndest also because this a 6-day chunk to be gone. There's also an organization that needs to keep, still run at the same time. My out of office reply is on. I let everybody know I might have reception, I might not, which is actually true.
True.
Um, and focus and keep the noise out to the very best of my abilities. The other thing that I recognized when we're young therapists, sometimes I'll just speak for myself. As a young therapist, I took people's stuff on because I was like, I gotta fix, I gotta rescue, I gotta heal. It's my responsibility. If they don't get something out of this, it's my fault. I failed. And so as I've matured, both as a human, as a woman, as a therapist, it's not, first of all, I don't believe anyone's broken. That's the first and foremost. And nobody needs rescuing, and they certainly don't need rescuing from me. Can we provide a space that is where we can be guides, where we can help give new information or new exercises or new activities or new brain hacks to help people get through their stuff? And so when people ask me, do you practice this stuff you talk about, or is it just a bunch of therapeutic? Are you therapizing me? Is it a bunch of mumbo jumbo, hippy dippy, woo woo shit? Oh, sorry.
That's
No.
okay.
Okay.
It's,
Yeah.
it's welcome.
Okay, good. I actually do because I notice what happens when I don't. If I start getting strung out, if I
Yeah.
start feeling um if I start feeling edgy and strung out, I'm like, "Oh, I'm thinking I'm the jar, not the straw. I'm feeling like I'm the receptacle, not the channel." And so then I will reset my own button to be the channel, not the receptacle, so that it comes through me and it's not of me,
Yeah.
if that makes
That's so
sense.
powerful.
Yeah.
And I think since both of us have been trauma therapists for so long, we've learned to be the straw
Mhm.
and can recognize when we aren't. For me, I think that when we call it vicarious trauma, and I also go, well, I also have vicarious healing in that
Mm.
we work with the horses. And so there's always those moments when clients are done or programs are wrapped up and we take our stuff to the horses too and
Yeah. I
let them
think
heal
that's
us as
important.
well.
I think that's so important.
That
Yeah.
is so true. And that for me in the morning, like being able to just throw them a flake of hay in the morning is just grounding.
Mhm.
It's simple. It's chop wood, carry water,
Yep.
take care of the animals,
Yeah.
take a breath, make sure they have water, make sure they have hay.
Appreciate them for who they are.
Yeah. And sleep. Like,
Mhm.
I think also, and this is something Lee and I talk a lot about, is trusting the process. um, because y'all are in the cabin or in the tent together, and we are purposefully not there all the time, so that
Mhm.
you all can bond and you all can talk and share resources and share stories and share of yourselves. And so the other night when it hit 9 o'clock, and I'm usually the last one in bed because I'm doing and I'm making sure everything's okay and set for the next morning and the horses and the materials, blah blah blah. I hit 9 o'clock and just went. The wall just hit me, and I was like, I'm going to bed right this instant. Night, everyone. Love
And that's
you.
wonderful.
Mhm.
And that's wonderful that you can do that for yourself. And that's,
We have to.
you have to.
We
And
have to.
I mean, even in any kind of space where there's healing involved, not, you're not always doing physical stuff. So this is a very demanding trip for anyone considering going. We'll talk about that in a minute. But it's a very demanding trip on all fronts, like physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, all of the things. And um, I just find it how it's so interesting how people can think it's one thing, myself included, coming out here thinking it's one thing and finding out there's just so many facets and layers to how this whole thing works. And my brain's like, I need to know everything about this now.
What
I
was
want to be a
something that's
cowgirl when I get home.
absolutely? What was something that surprised you or that
Um,
you didn't expect?
I actually didn't expect how much everything kind of went together, like
Mm.
having the dinner prepared and the like if you were really on a ranch, like nobody's making your dinner in your house for you. Like you're doing the ranch work and you have to go in and make dinner. Like I'm thinking, how do ranchers do this? Um, and then just it surprised me with the other ladies. I mean, I've been in lots of groups before and I've done other equine things, but to witness them have their journeys, I know the power of that. And I think I'm becoming a better witness as I do more work on myself. Um, but some of the journeys were just really impactful to me to observe and watch and go, oh, I wish I had that insight. Like, I wish I had that insight and to really like take it inward and look at myself. So I wasn't expecting that. I was thinking to like cheer them on and just be like, this is so great for you. But to draw something from them because we need each other. And I know these things, but it just kind of surprised me in a way I guess wasn't expecting.
Hmm.
Which just sounds funny to say out loud because that's the whole point of this as I'm saying that. But and to watch you guys, um, there were moments where I saw your eyes flicker like, oh, okay. And so I'm thinking like, oh, I wonder what's in their brain. Are they gonna go in their tent tonight and be like, oh, that was impactful? Or were they really just like, oh, and that's it? So I want to ask you, after everything that you have witnessed doing this work, what do you understand about healing now that you didn't understand when you started this?
Oof,
Mm.
oof. I think I can speak to that. Uh, Drawing on what Michelle had said a minute ago, is that I think, as young therapists, we think that we are the catalyst for change. And it's such a process to realize that we're not, and that change is completely within the person we're working with. And our job is to kind of stay out of the way a lot. Um, and then I think when we add our equine partners, which are the most powerful ingredient of
Yeah.
all that we have created, I mean, it's the horses that are
Hmm.
actually the biggest healers, and whether we could ever in our lifetime put the proper words to the impact of why the horses impact people, we will probably never ever be able to put that into words.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, and so I think that that's a piece to really think through.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would think the other thing too, and we talk about this all the time, because as humans, right, we get into that thing of, oh, we need to arrange this, we need to curate this, we need to make this happen so that that happens. I mean,
And
sometimes, yeah,
sometimes we do
in
a
terms
little
of the
bit.
big structure, absolutely, there is a method to our madness,
We have a
and
plan
we
sometimes.
do have a plan. Actually, we always have a
Oh,
plan. It's
plan,
just a
which is
matter of
most of the
like,
time
oh,
requires a shift.
a
There's
shift, right? A
there's lots of
pivot.
pivots.
Yeah, lots of pivots all the time. Um, it's really trusting the horses.
Mhm.
That is the difference between equine assisted therapy and learning and pet the pony therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't mean that to sound dismissive at all, because yes, just standing there and petting a horse, you can bust out into tears.
Oh, yes.
Right. I could lie over a horse and start crying, all of those things. There is absolute impact. And
And
when you want to do something deeper and you really want to be able to hold people and hold that container, we've talked a lot about the container this time, is the horses, trusting the horses. So even when like we had to switch some horses around this time because this horse was hurt and this person wasn't able to do this, so we had to switch these horses, and Lee and I are thinking, oh gosh, this is going to be really hard, and this person who really got attached to this horse is going to, and then the magic that actually came out of that, even
mhm.
that it wasn't about necessarily that person and that horse. It was the horses in general, and having an opportunity to switch gears and go, well, actually, that horse might not have been right for me at this time. I needed this horse first to be able to get to that horse. And I was like, oh my God, yes, thank you, God, really. Like the horses, you just get things from them if we just get the hell out of the way sometimes. And again,
It's true.
provide the container, provide the structure, provide the time and perhaps an activity, and then let go.
Mhm.
Let it go and let the
Let it
horse
play
and the
out.
person, yes, let it play out.
Yeah. That's so interesting because, I can speak for myself and my lived experience is trying to let go of like what I think is going to happen. And, stepping in the round pen the other night and thinking, I'm just going to be so regulated and I'm just going to be so heart coherent that this horse is going to come over and lay on me. That's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to happen.
Yeah.
But before I stepped in the round pen, I'm like, that's not going to happen. Like, drop your expectations here. But the funny thing that I learned is that I really thought I dropped the expectations, but I didn't.
Mm.
And as I'm standing in there and Michelle's like, what do you want to work on? And I'm like, I don't know how to explain it. So I tell her what I'm thinking and she says, why don't you have a conversation with Jake about this? So she leaves me with Jake, who's wonderful. And he doesn't give one darn tootin' about anything that I'm doing, saying, breathing, heart cohering, anything. And I'm like, this is how it goes for me. Why does it always go this way for me? Why is no one paying attention? This whole thing. And it like turned into, I had to arrive to these conclusions about myself by myself. But he was there to hold the space, which was wonderful. And I was thankful for. And about the time I kind of arrived to the conclusion, like, I have the greatest community surrounding me and all the things that I could ever want literally are already inside of me. And I'm thankful for this community. And thank you, Jake, for ignoring me and teaching me this. And about that time, he pops his head up and I'm like, oh, that must have been the money shot. Like, I got it. I figured this out. And then here comes the whole herd down the hill. And Michelle got to witness this. But that was the community piece, like that whole thing, it just came together and I could not hold it together. And I was like, I don't want to hold it together. Like, but it was so beautiful because you don't know what is going to happen. So you have to let the human and the horse find whatever it is. And even after that, when I tried to tell him thank you, he's like, yeah, I don't care. But it was so cool because whatever I arrived to and whatever was being put out there, another horse started calling the herd in and they all came barreling down the hill. And it was like,
there's your community.
Oh my gosh. Like, you can't make this up.
Nope.
You cannot make this
You don't
up.
have to.
Yeah,
Just
you
there
don't
it
have to.
is.
And that is what makes the equine assisted piece so special in that what do we want to call it? That aha moment that you had of like, we couldn't have arrived at that in an office no matter how many hours we sat and talked it through.
Yeah.
It had to be lived experience. You had to experience it in your body, in yourself, in that round pen, through the frustration, through the sadness that it was, and then to have whatever was going to happen. And yeah, we did not orchestrate,
No,
this
how could you?
fabulous herd showing up right
How
when we
could you?
needed them to.
And then I was just
Yeah.
like, they do care. Like, it was just like in typical dramatic Valerie fashion. Like, they do care.
They do.
Coming.
It was so just perfect for that moment. And if I would have said, this is what I want, didn't even know I wanted that. I wouldn't have known. I would have taken that herd coming in like that over Jake coming and hugging me any day. Like, that was something incredible that you just can't make up out here. And there's been multiple experiences like that this week for me and for the other ladies that have been here. And I know you get to see it over and over, but do you ever have experiences like that yourself?
Oh, for sure. For sure. One of my happy places, I have kind of this neuro circuit of if I'm not feeling as resourced as I would like to feel, or I'm having a moment, I have this what do I want to call it? This structure of things that I go through visually and that are wired into my body. And I go through them in order. And one of them, so I go through them, I close my eyes, I take a couple of deep breaths, and I have wired these few things into my system. And one of them is this horse at this place where we're working called Meadowlark Ranch up in Longmont. And Ariat is a very sensitive shire, and he's had a little bit of a history, and he's very he can be very sensitive and very reactive. And I had this moment with him one day in the pen, and he's big, he towers over me, and his big face comes towards mine. And actually, one of my veteran gals got a photo of it, and he's just with his big warm nostrils just breathing into my face. And they do one nostril and then the other, and we're exchanging breath, his nostril in my face, and then he turns with the other one, and we're just standing there with my face upturned to him and his nostrils, and we're breathing into each other, and nothing else existed. And when I have a moment, whether I'm in traffic or I'm having a challenging conversation, or one of those organizational moments of like, oh God, what are we doing and how's this gonna work? Take a deep breath. I close my eyes and I just see his big nostrils and his white muzzle and his black face and his big sensitive body just right out in front of me. And it just grounds me. That's a big one.
That's beautiful.
So heck yeah.
Yeah.
And when those horses came thundering up within that, I mean, that was amazing.
Oh,
Lee had an experience with that too, because the sound, this is again, the pack trip is, we wouldn't have been able to get to that if that was just an individual session necessarily, but there's a herd of horses out there. We did not expect to come thundering up when the horses started calling, hey, brr,
Yeah.
and then they just,
No, because we looked for them all afternoon.
yeah,
couldn't find 'em.
yeah. And they were hiding from us, but by God, their friends were calling, and off they go.
When
Because
Val needed them,
community,
here
that's
they
right.
came.
Here
Yeah.
they came.
Oh, so beautiful. What
Yeah.
about you?
Gosh, I don't know. That's a hard question, Val. I think I cannot even put it into. There's been so many moments that are so poignant to me that I just go, wow. Like, I don't think I can even
You have a
answer
whole
that.
collection. That's what I say.
Yeah.
I've had some moments
Definitely.
where I'm like, I can't even describe this, but
Yeah.
I keep it close to my heart. Like it's a collection for me with
And
my
I
horses
think-
That is true.
especially.
I
That
think
is
it's important to say too that those moments, like, we've had a lot of those personal moments like you with Ariat. We have also had so many moments of watching client magic
Mm,
happen that brings me to my knees, where
yes.
I have literally been like, okay, I am in exactly the right place and time as witness to this. It doesn't even, the magic and the power of it doesn't even
Yeah.
have to be myself interacting, like just watching sometimes what happens. And you
Mhm.
just go,
Yeah. And Lee and I are often astounded. Like even when we were working with Lee's herd, she had these 3 horses, these 3 geldings, who she knows and knew really well. And when we were working with them in a group, every once in a while, one of them would do something and she would look at me and go, they've never done this before.
Oh, that's so
I have
cool.
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they would do something and she goes, he's never done that before.
That's so
And
cool.
with a participant, right?
Yeah.
Because whatever it was they needed or what was
They
going on for
needed,
them,
yeah.
there it was. And we're looking at each other like, wow.
Wow.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
You guys have the best girl ever.
We do. We say that
We're
a
very
lot.
blessed.
We say that a lot. Yeah.
So let's talk about who this trip is actually for.
Mm.
So explain a little bit about how somebody could go on this trip. And this is for men and women, but not mixed company. So you
Correct.
do a women's pack trip and then a men's pack trip.
Yep.
So how does somebody find out about this or get involved? How would you send them
Mm-hmm.
your way?
Yeah, a lot of it is word of mouth. And these are for male veterans, female veterans, and this is the trip that you're on, also female spouses. So spouses of veterans, and next year, ideally, assuming we get the funding, which I am determined to do a couples retreat.
How exciting.
That would be the only kind of mix, because just keeping the men and the women separate, it's just helpful for all the reasons. And so a lot of word of mouth. Our contact form. I have a lot of people say, hey, Val went on this trip and she told me to give you a call. And because everybody knows that my email inbox is ridiculous and it's the worst way to get a hold of me, they'll shoot me a text. Like, don't email her. I've had people say, they told me not to email you, but to text you.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened to me too.
Yeah, that's probably true. And so getting in touch with me. And so this is an interview process, because we take it very seriously. So it's an interview process with either me or Lee. And first of all, we just have a conversation. Just, hey, why are you interested? Tell us, why you think this is a good fit. How did you find us? All that good stuff. And then assuming it seems like a good fit and the dates are even available, then we send them the application. They go through the application. And some people really fill out the application well. And some people write one sentence. And I'm like, just so you know, if you write one sentence and I need to know more, I'll give you a holler and be like, hey, Val, you literally said 3 words with, whatever, some really big question.
No one will ever get just 3 words.
Okay, bad example. Right? I will tell you, and one of the things about this trip too is it's, as much as we want to help everyone in crisis, this is not the trip for people in crisis. So I have had people call me to say, I'm on the edge, I really need this trip, and to say, I love you, and let's get you resourced. Let's get you some therapy. Let's get you grounded. Let's get you, in a counseling program. Let's get you out of crisis, because being in a trip like this in crisis is no good for them, no good for the horses, and no good for the cohort. So I will absolutely help someone find what is the best way to help them get their feet on the ground again, and say, absolutely, let's reapply next year. Because one of the questions on the application form is what are you already doing? And I name a list of programs that are not necessarily partners, but collaborators, and programs that I know, programs that I trust. And there's a lot of programs out there, my gosh, popping up that are amazing that I don't even know about yet, and I'm just hearing about. So if anyone's listening to this podcast who runs another veteran serving organization and you want to be on our application, I am happy to put you on there. Let's have a conversation. So I do have an other box. What else have you been through? Because people who come on this trip, it's important that they want to do the work. This is not a vacation. It's fun.
I love that you said that.
It is
Yeah.
not a vacation.
Yeah, you have to want to do the work
Yeah.
really with anything. I mean, even if you're sitting in a therapist's office and I'm sitting across from you, if I'm just wanting you to tell me what I'm supposed to do, we're not going to get anywhere. And this type of environment, it takes some looking at yourself before you come, because I could see myself a few years ago. I don't know that I would have done as well. I would have been a little more like, what do you mean I have to face my control issues? Like, I can only imagine what that would have been like. So you do have to be a little bit more resourced. So what if somebody says, like, I don't think this is for me? Like, they're well resourced, they're doing well. If they're scared of horses, does that exclude them?
Absolutely not. In fact, we've really actually, have had maybe even more successful trips for people who sometimes have never touched a horse in their life. And I think that that's such a stopping point for so many people to say, well, I could never do something like that. I don't even know if I like horses. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
We have sometimes very experienced horse people, middle of the road experience, and zero. And it matters not at all.
Yeah. And I would say that's true, having experienced that myself this week, and all the levels, and everyone has done amazing.
Yeah.
And it's because of what you guys have put in place, and because of what, the ranch has done, and instructions. And there is a method to, you don't just get here day one and hop on the back of a horse. That would be a disaster.
That would be a disaster.
But doing the work ahead of time, and the work starts, the minute you get here, and you're like, oh, I'm going to meet this horse first. And now I'm going to get in a round pen with this horse. And now I'm going to cry because it's not working what I'm telling it to do. But it's really, it makes all the difference. So then you feel it in the saddle. Like, that was everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
It takes willingness and curiosity. Because someone, if they're afraid of horses and want to be afraid of horses the rest of their lives, there's not a darn thing we can do.
Right.
But if someone says, I was thrown, this happens a lot. I was thrown, or I was bucked, or I was kicked when I was 10, and I've never been around horses since. I'm too scared of them. And I would like to not be scared of them anymore, and I would like to try.
Yeah.
Then if someone's really that scared, or really that, we might meet with them first at the barn and do a session or two and get them grounded. And we actually did a great program a couple of years ago with the Rocky Mountain Police and Fire Chaplains. It's now called Serving the Shield. And this one gal who she organized the thing. She was amazing. She's like, Michelle, I'm terrified of horses.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know that I can do this. And I said, look, I would love to have you there. What if you came out to the barn the weekend before, and we just spent a couple hours acclimating and petting and being scaffolding, doing all the things? And she said, I'll try. I said, great. That's all I'm going to ask, is to try. And if it's really too much, of course, like, there's no force. You don't have to come. And let's at least try. And she did. She came out to the barn with just me and her for 2 hours. We started with the minis and then worked our way up to the big guys. The big guys are actually more gentle, right? The minis are, The minis are like, blah, 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 right? They're all spastic. And the big ones are all gentle. And so she was able to participate. Not that she was immediately like, I am the boss now, right? She got enough through her fears where she was able to participate with everybody else with normal nervousness, normal trepidation and all that. Because these are animals to be respected. Right?
For sure.
Yeah, they're 1,200 pounds to 1,800 pounds. They're gargantuan. They're to be respected. And if someone was fearful and wanted to work through it, we would find a way to help scaffold.
Meet you where you're at.
Yeah.
Go from there.
That's beautiful. And I believe every word of that.
Good.
And before we wrap up, and I am going to interview some of these ladies and just let them share their thoughts about this whole entire process, which you don't get to hear until we're done. But after everything that you've poured into Operation Equine, what is the main gift that it's given back to you?
Yes, you're going to make me cry all of a sudden. It's so rewarding. It's so rewarding. God, the words. To see people in the course of 5 or 6 days to trust us, to trust the horses, to trust the process. Especially, it's sacred for women in a way that it's different. Like, it's different. It's just as sacred for men. It's just different. And women, we've been meeting in circles for the millennium, since the dawn of time. And so to get a group of women together and to learn the joke, not joke. The funny, not joke is how do women in the military promote by the knives in each other's backs, right? It's brutal. Same thing in the first responder world. And so when the women drop in and start trusting themselves and each other and us and the horses, like I could die tomorrow and die a happy person. I mean, God forbid, right? But it's, uh, I don't even, God, clearly I don't even have words. I've got the tears, but the reward of that is indescribable. Like there's nothing else I would rather be doing. And the holy group of women and the holy group of men, because it ripples out, because it's not just the people, right? These men go home to their wives and
Lives
their
and the children.
husbands and to their kids and to their communities and to their children. And same thing. And the women go back to their husbands and their wives and their children and their communities. And when they come home, like the best compliment is sometimes when they go home and their spouse or their kids go, "Oh, you're different.
Yeah.
What happened to you there?" In a good way, right?
Right.
That
Mhm.
Mic drop.
mic drop.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Yeah. What about you, Lee?
Gosh, I don't know if I think Michelle said that so perfectly. I think we are also such lucky individuals.
Mm.
I work with so many adults show up saying, I don't know what I'm doing in life. I don't know why I'm here. I'm middle aged now, and what was it all for? And to be able to have this purpose filled like work that we do is absolutely priceless. Like
Yeah.
so lucky.
That's beautiful. We're lucky to have you in this world and on this planet for sure. Miss Michelle, would you give us a little grounding out the door? Let us just
Absolutely.
take a moment and ground ourselves and be present and ready just for whatever coming our way today. And I would just really appreciate that.
Be
Thank
my
you for being
honor and
here today.
pleasure.
And thank you
Oh my
for
gosh.
bringing me on this trip. Ugh,
Oh,
no words.
thank you for coming. And thank you for this opportunity to talk with you on this podcast.
Of course.
And thank you for trusting us. And thank you for the opportunity to get to know you, Val, because now you're part of the herd.
Yep.
I love it.
Now you're stuck with us.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Okay, good. All right, we will take a couple of deep breaths, starting to extend your inhales and your exhales. Maybe on your exhales, you can sigh. Maybe on your exhales, you can drop your shoulders away from your earlobes just a little. I invite you to feel your feet on the earth. Give your toes a wiggle. Feel all 10 toes and the balls of your feet and the heels of your feet on the earth. Starting to still our bodies and our minds. Feeling our seats on our chairs. To the breeze. The creaking roof of the barn. Allowing ourselves to be in this silent, holy moment of now. Bringing breath to our bellies, to our lower backs. Coming back to that idea of us being a channel, whatever spiritual words work for you. The divine energy coming in through the tops of our heads. Maybe it's a white light coming in through the crown of our head, behind our eyes, behind our sinuses, behind our jaws, behind our ears, down to our occipital lobes. Beautiful divine light coming down our throats and our necks, down the backs of our shoulders, going down through our arms, down through our wrists, all the way down to our hands, into the palms of our hands, so that when we touch another being, person, animal, ourselves, it's with a hint of the divine energy that flows through us all the time. Bringing that divine light through our chests and that spot between our shoulder blades, down through our rib cage and our sternums, down to our middle backs. Bringing that holy divine light through our bellies, through our backs, through our pelvises, down through our tailbones and our hips. Coming down through our glutes and our hamstrings. Coming down through our quads and the fronts of our knees and the backs of our knees and our shins and our calves, and down through our ankles and the tops of our feet, going down through the bottoms of our feet, connecting us between sky and earth. Taking a nice deep breath from that space, filling all of your lungs, letting it go with a sigh. Giving your toes and fingers a wiggle. And when you're ready, coming back into the space.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Val.
My name is Tawana. I am the spouse of an Army veteran.
Thank you, Tawana, for giving me some of your time. And it's been an honor to be on this journey with you this week. And I really appreciate your openness and your honesty. And I hope that you found some little treasures to take home with you while you're here. And for being a first-time horse rider, you did amazing. And I know a lot of people coming on this trip might be thinking, or wanting to come on this trip, might be thinking, I don't know how to ride horses. I don't know if I can do it. What would you say to them?
I would say come. Just come. You're going to get the guidance and the training that you need to get comfortable and for your fears to go far away. And just come and try, and you'll be surprised at how well it goes for you.
Yeah, just being open makes a huge difference.
Huge difference. Yes, I was 100% scared and not knowing what to expect from the horses because they're such big creatures and powerful, and I am not afraid at all. At all.
No, you had the confidence of like a 4-year-old in a Superman t-shirt, for sure. It was beautiful to watch. And we talked about, you just said it, that you let go of your fears while you were here. And I think that's beautiful because that's the intention of this whole week that they put together for us, was to let go of things that aren't serving us and find things that we can do to implement in our lives when we go home. And parenting is one of those things you and I shared on that front. Do you feel like there's anything specific that you'll be able to take home from these clinics?
I think the biggest thing that I'm excited to go home with is the peace and the patience that I feel that I have, and the confidence to continue in the raising teenager realm more confidently, knowing that I have the skills within me to parent well, and seeing the work that I was able to do with the horses, even with a horse that was not so easy, just really has boosted my confidence, and that I'll be able to transfer the skills I've learned here on the ranch to home with my children.
Yeah. That really covers it all. It's like a mic drop. I nailed it. Tawana, you have such a presence of peace and joy and the fruits of the Spirit all over you. I've watched you all week long demonstrate those to us. So thank you for that. And thank you for doing this and giving me a part of your journey to share with others so that maybe they can take the same adventure that we did.
I hope they do.
Thank you, Tawana. Lisa, I'm glad we got to do this together. It's been really fun.
Yes, me too. It's been a great week.
It has. I have a couple questions going out of this Warrior Pack trip for 2026. What are you taking with you?
Well, the experience of a lifetime, I think. Having known Michelle, seeing what she created, it's amazing. The space, connection. And this week I was really able to recalibrate and kind of figure out what things I need to do became clearer. So I think clarity, some inner peace, inspiration.
Yeah. It was beautiful to watch you experience that and receive those things. Your eyes are a little brighter today.
Yeah, thank you.
And if somebody wanted to come on this trip, what would you say to them?
I'd say take a deep breath and enjoy the ride.
I think that about sums it up. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
Jennifer, Army veteran.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm so excited for people to hear a little bit about your experience on the Warrior Pack trip. What do you feel was the most impactful?
I would say just the space that we're in. It's just everywhere you look, it's so beautiful and so peaceful. It really gives you that opportunity to appreciate every little moment and stay present.
Yeah, it's not often that we pause long enough to see those things.
No, that moment of pause is so important, and you really have a chance to get it here because there's just so much natural beauty to look at everywhere you go, to just take that in and absorb it.
Yeah. What's something that you're going to leave here in the mountains and not take home with you?
Hopefully, I am leaving regret and sadness here.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of sadness I hope to leave behind.
I believe you will. What would you say to somebody who is thinking about coming on this trip?
Oh, I think this really is just such a unique opportunity. The space you get to do it in, the relationship you get to build with the horses, you learn new skills, learn new, whether you know anything about horses or not coming into it, you're going to learn something here. And the generosity of everyone involved in this program. It's just everyone here is just so genuine.
It really is beyond words. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Hi, Betsy.
Hi, Valerie.
Thank you for taking the time to just let us know how your week went with Operation Equine. It's been so fun seeing you with the horses and encouraging each other along the journey. And I was hoping that you would give me a moment and just tell me kind of what your takeaway was from this week and what are you going to hang on to for a while?
Yeah, absolutely. And likewise, it was so beautiful to share this experience with you, but also all the other women, the participants, and Michelle and Lee, and then the folks at Music Meadows. Oh my gosh, it was just absolutely a dream come true. I know I keep saying that. Kind of like repetitively was just, this truly was a dream come true in so many ways. Just reflecting on kind of what my biggest takeaways were. I think the words that keep coming to me are surrender and trust. I know that I can get really controlling. I have an idea in my head about how things are supposed to unfold, what the best way is, what the best plan is, what the best strategy is, all of that. And what I've continually learned in other lessons, but especially this week, is just that if I let go and allow things to just unfold as they will, not only do I get what I need that I didn't even know I needed, but what I receive is just beyond what I could have ever conceived for myself. And I was just also reflecting on, if I compare that to, if I compare what actually happened to what I had in my head that should have happened, if I had successfully controlled the situation, I would have missed out on so much. Just from, from the personal kind of spiritual revelations to even just the practical, like we got to do cow herding. That was not on the original agenda.
Yeah.
That was so powerful. Just again, another dream come true. Just so many lessons on being okay with imperfection, being okay with, when we're in the round pen and I'm working with a horse and everyone is standing around, I remember going into that thinking kind of consciously like, ooh, this is the uncomfortable moment, right? Where I'm like about to try to do something new. I'm going to be, given direction of how to do it. And everyone's going to be watching me, and that feeling of exposure. And what if I don't do it perfectly the first time? What if I look like a fool? Like all
exactly.
of that.
Exactly.
All the insecurities that come up. It's just like normal stuff that comes up. But I remember, just trying to go into it with like, hey, I trust myself to do my best. I trust these women that everyone is here to support me, to kind of cheerlead for me, that all have my best interest at heart. I trust Elin, and her beautiful wisdom and direction, and I can just allow this to be what it is. And I don't know, just being with that fear and moving through that. And then what's on the other side of that, is such a powerful feeling of confidence and self-acceptance, I think. Even it's like, of course I didn't do things perfectly. Of course I messed it up here and there, but I don't even know if it's a mistake. It's just, I tried something and it didn't work. So I tried it a different way. It still didn't work. I got some more direction. And then eventually it did work. So yeah, there's just so much in that of like letting go of that fear and shame. For me was a really, really powerful lesson. I was kind of sharing a little bit about, I can be kind of a nitpicker when it comes to myself for sure, and other people, but especially like my husband, that like perfectionism. And I tend to focus on that 5 or 10% that still needs to be fixed or isn't quite right, as opposed to the 95% that is just fine, if not great. So that was a big lesson too. I can still see, there's that moment where we're moving to stop the horse in the round pen and drawing them in so that they turn and face us, right? And, my horse Smoke had turned probably like 80 to 90% toward me, wasn't perfectly straight on. And I remember having this moment of like, my default was like, I have to make him do it 100%. Otherwise I'm going to get yelled at, right? Like, otherwise it's like someone's going to say you're doing it wrong. But I'm like, in that moment, it was like, pause and see what happens, and see, instead of seeing what he didn't do, see the try, see that 90%. Like, he turned to face me, and that was really powerful. So taking that home, taking that piece home is such a powerful piece of integration from this incredibly beautiful experience. Woo.
That's such a great point, because I know for myself, I took some of that home too. Just like, I can pause and give people grace for the try. Like, that's so good, Betsy. Thank you for that. And if somebody was considering going on this trip, what would you tell them?
Oh, do it. Like, just unequivocally, just do it. And, I think what was really beautiful about this trip is that we had such a wide range of horse experience, right? Like, from, you and me with kind of experiences in childhood, or having me and Jennifer with some really formal training, to Tawana and Meredith, who had never been on a horse before. And everyone experienced such powerful personal revelations with these horses. And, it's everything. I just like connecting with the horses is so powerful, but connecting with them in such an intentional, loving, safe container. It's just, I've never experienced anything like this, and this is dream come true. You'll never have this experience. I can take pieces of this experience back into my life, but that unique container that Michelle and Lee were able to create was just, I have such gratitude for it. So please, if you're thinking about doing this, do it. Don't think again. Just do it. You'll be so happy you did.
I 100% agree with you on all of that. It was a very powerful experience, a very moving experience at times, and a challenging experience at times. I know for me, because again, with the control issue, well, it's supposed to be this way. I thought I was going to be this way, and it wasn't. And it was all just so good in the long run. Absolutely. So we got what we needed, not necessarily what we thought. And also, just side note, there are quite a bit of shenanigans that occur on this trip too, that is just so much fun and so much silliness, and just being allowed to express ourselves and just be fully present in the moment. And it was so beautiful to do that with you. And I know that Operation Equine is going to have lots of pack trips in the future. And I hope that people will hear something you said and decide to submit an application and go. So thank you, Betsy, for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And I just love you to pieces.
Oh, I love you. I love you so much, my sister.
Meredith Vaughn, a U.S. Army veteran.
Thank you, Meredith. How long were you in the Army?
27 years.
That's remarkable. You do not look like somebody who's been in the military for 27 years.
My mom always said you cannot spend too much on face cream. And that's one thing I've taken with me. So thank you.
Sounds like she's a wise woman.
Thank you. Yes.
So after spending this week here at Music Meadows Ranch with Operation Equine and the Warrior Pack trip, tell me your thoughts.
There are so many, but there's an unimaginable unwinding and growth that occurs when you gather a small circle of veterans carrying stories that you don't have to explain. A compassionate, knowledgeable team, Michelle and Lee, met us first with quiet, grounding presence, reaching straight to the nervous system. It truly did. And that's the exact same way we were met by the horses. It's a safe space without judgment. I learned horsemanship and how to listen and lead without force. And they responded to authenticity, so that's the way you show up, not the version shaped by service or expectations. While also it created a safe space to grow with connection to the other beautiful souls here on this journey. I felt myself exhale in ways yet my spirit yearned for, but I didn't know I needed. And the shared meals and the gentle conversations were nourishing in all the ways. No rush, no agenda, just presence. I'm grateful and forever changed by this experience. And I would say if you're a veteran, if you employ a veteran, if you know a veteran or just support a veteran, please consider letting them know about this program.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're such a good witness, and that's what this podcast is about, is just being that sacred witness. And I got the honor of watching you do that very well.
Thank you, Pete.
Yeah, you're an amazing witness, and you also allowed us to witness you, which was really incredible. And the emotion is there just because there's no way to put it into words. You beautifully described just a fraction of what it was like to be here this week.
Small fraction.
And you also were the woman and knower of all the things with all the aches and pains creams. And you have such a servant's heart and just a willingness to help and heal. Like, you really are a healer. And I'm so honored that we got to share this space with you. And maybe somebody, just maybe, will go on this Warrior Pack trip because of something you said. So thank you for your time and for sharing your heart with us. I really love you.
I love you, Val. Thank you for everything that you bring to the table, your laughter and your love.
We definitely had some laughter.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Thank you.
Thank you, Meredith. Okay, so I'm here with Emerald. She is a wrangler and ranch hand here. You come into town how often to do these?
Once a year, I come in for these couple of weeks, 1 week prior, just to do some pre-clinic horsemanship stuff. And then I come in for the following week when we have the actual clinic.
So you come here, and when you say clinic, you're talking about the ladies on the Warrior Pack trip. So
yeah.
So Emerald has been here with us for this week and has done all things horse, all things safety, all things amazing for us. And we've learned so much from her. And she's truly just given her all, and she has worked so hard. So I wanted to just introduce her to you and thank her officially for being here this week for these women who came here to learn something about themselves and about each other and about horses. And I know you can't do this work without learning something about yourself. So what is it that motivates you to come and do this work, Emerald?
I think I come back here because it's such hard work. So I like to challenge myself because I think you learn a lot of resilience by doing ranch work. You have to adapt to different situations. Horses are always keeping you on your toes. And I don't like to just sit around on vacation time, so I like to take my vacation and come up here and work for Elin Parker. She's the one that owns the ranch up here. And just challenge myself and learn new skills, because I think continuously learning something is really important as you carry on through life.
I think that is important. And you can probably hear the ladies in the background. They're just having a good time. And that's what it's been like here this whole week. And Emerald has been instrumental in helping us to have these moments. And she took us out on the trail, and we got to do stuff that some of us never dreamed we'd be able to do. So it was such a pinch me type of week for me personally. And I would like to ask you, Emerald, what do you get out of doing this? What does your heart feel like when you're done with this week?
I always feel like I kind of come home whenever I come back here, and I have such a deep connection to these mountains and this area because of familial ties. And so for me, it's really important to share that with other people that have never been up here, have never seen the scenery, have never worked with horses before, because I didn't grow up working with horses. And so it's been really important for me to encourage other people to also get into horsemanship and agriculture and let them know that it's never too late to start learning a new skill. And people aren't gatekeeping it, or at least we don't want to gatekeep it. We want to share that skill and that lifestyle with people because you feel free, I think, when you're out here. There's just a freedom that comes with it that a lot of people, I think, maybe haven't experienced so much in their jobs or in the cities or wherever they might be coming from. And so sharing that is important.
It's real important. And you did such a good job. And it was so beautiful to watch you work this week. And I just, it was really beautiful. Don't laugh at me. I'm crying. You're crying.
No, I have to laugh. So
me too. But truly, I mean, just listening to you talk this week, you're such an adventurer and an artist and just a beautiful, joyful woman that inside and out, just so beautiful. So thank you for being here this week with us. And I hope that many more will come experience ranch life and get into this kind of thing. And what would you say to somebody who's interested in getting into this kind of work?
I would say just go for it. I got into it by volunteering at a horse rescue, and volunteering is always one of the best ways you can get into it because you learn new skills. And I mean, really, yeah, volunteering somewhere, taking lessons if you're able to, just take the first step and do something, even if it's like one day a week or one day a month, whatever you're capable of doing at the time. Just, you got to take a first step at some point.
I agree. What's your favorite thing about horses?
Oh, man. There's so many. I think the bond that comes when you really have been working with one for a while and you get to that point of trust and cooperation, and then your riding feels like you're just working in tandem. It's like your wills are kind of connected. You almost think something and they just kind of go with it and do it. And having that bond is the best thing ever.
I can see that on your face that you believe that when you say that.
Yeah.
That's so amazing.
I love horses. They've taught me so much.
How can people find your artwork?
I do have an Instagram page. It's emerald_Christina. And I also have a website, emeraldartwork.com.
Okay. You're such an accomplished artist and beautiful soul. And thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for listening. I've been trying to figure out how to close this episode out, and I'm still figuring out what this week meant to me. I came to Colorado expecting horses, expected to learn. I expected to be challenged, of course, and I knew enough about Operation Equine to know that this wasn't simply a trail ride or a vacation. But what I didn't expect was just how much I would learn by watching these other women. There were 6 of us here. None of us came carrying the same story. We didn't need to. There was something powerful about watching another woman wrestle with something and find her own answer, build confidence, take a risk, laugh until she couldn't breathe, or simply sit quietly and let herself be where she was. And then there were the horses. I told you about Jake. That was just one of the many experiences that I had, but I can tell you that I walked into that round pen thinking I'd released my expectations and discovered pretty quickly that I hadn't. I wanted something from him, and instead he gave me absolutely nothing I asked for. And somehow that gave me exactly what I needed. Healing doesn't always arrive looking like the thing we thought we needed, and sometimes it's a horse who won't come to you. Sometimes it's an entire herd thundering down a mountain. Sometimes it's another woman's story, showing you something about your own. And sometimes it's simply just being given enough space to hear what was already inside of you. Operation Equine created that space for us this week. I want to thank Michelle, Lee, and the staff at Music Meadows who cared for us, the horses who carried us, and all the women who were willing to show up and be seen. It's remarkable to me. I still can't put words to the whole experience, but I hope that you enjoyed this episode. And if you are interested in attending an Operation Equine Warrior Pack trip in the future, go visit their website, get in touch with Michelle. And until next time, be kind to yourself and remember you are loved and worthy of being witnessed.